Dennis' Invitation to Steele Horace Book 1 Ep V by Jonathan Swift. John Dennis, the sheltering poet's invitation to Richard Steele, the secluded party writer and member, to come and live with him in the Mint 1714. Fit to be bound up with the crisis. If thou canst lay aside a spendthrift's air, and condescend to feed on homely fare, such as we minters with ragouts unstored, will in defiance of the law afford quit thy patrols with Toby's Christmas box 1, and come to me at the 2 Fighting Cocks, since printing by subscription now is grown the stalest, idlest cheat about the town, and Evan Charles Gilden, who a papist bred has an alarm against that worship spread, is practicing those beaten paths of cruising, and for new levies on proposals musing. 'Tis true that Bloomsbury Square's a noble place, but what are lofty buildings in thy case? What's a fine house, embellished to profusion, where shoulder-dabbers are in execution? Or whence its timorous tenant seldom sallies, but apprehensive of insulting bailiffs? This once be mindful of a friend's advice, and cease to be improvidently nice. Exchange the prospects that delude thy sight from Highgate's steep ascent and Hampstead's height with verdant scenes, that from St. George's Field more durable and safe enjoyments yield. Here I that near, till now could find ease to my troubled and suspicious mind, but ever was with jealousies possessed am in a state of indolence, and rest fearful no more of Frenchmen in disguise, nor looking upon strangers as on spies too, but quite divested of my former spleen, am unprovoked without and calm within, and here ill wait thy coming, till the sun shall its diurnal course completely run. Think not that thou of sturdy bub shalt fail my landlord's cellar stocked with beer and ale, with every sort of malt that is in use, and every country's generous produce. The ready for here Christian faith is sick, which makes us seldom trespass upon tick, instantly brings the choicest liquors out, whether we ask for home-brewed, or for stout for mead or cider, or with dainties fed ring for a flask or 2 of white or red, such as the drawer will not fail to swear was drunk by Pilkington 3 when 3rd time mayor. That name, methinks, so popularly known for opposition to the church and crown, might make the Lusitanian grape to pass, and almost give a sanction to the glass, especially with thee whose hasty zeal against the late rejected Commerce Bill made thee rise up like an audacious elf to do the speaker honor, not thyself. But if thou soarst above the common prices by virtue of subscription to thy crisis, and nothing can go down with thee but wines pressed from Burgundian and Campanian vines, bid them be brought, for though I hate the French, I love their liquors, as thou lovest a wench else, thou must humble thy expensive taste, and with us hold contentment for a feast. The fire's already lighted, and the maid has a clean cloth upon the table laid, who never on a Saturday had struck, but for thy entertainment up a buck. Think of this act of grace, which by your leave Susan would not have done on Easter Eve, had she not been informed over and over 'twas, for th' ingenious author of the lover foreceased therefore to beguile thyself with hopes, which is no more than making sandy ropes, and quit the vain pursuit of loud applause, that must bewilder thee in faction's cause. Prithee, what is't to thee who guides the state? Why Dunkirk's demolition is so late? Or why her Majesty thinks fit to cease the din of war, and hush the world to peace? The clergy too, without thy aid, can tell what texts to choose, and on what topics dwell, and uninstructed by thy babbling teach, their flock's celestial happiness to reach. Rather let such poor souls as you and I say that the holidays are drawing nigh, and that tomorrow's sun begins the week, which will abound with store of ale and cake, with hams of bacon, and with powdered beef stuffed to give field itinerants relief. Then I who have within these precincts kept and near beyond the chimney-sweepers stepped, will take a loose and venture to be seen, since 'twill be Sunday upon Shank's Green there, with erected looks and phrase sublime, to talk of unity of place and time, and with much malice mixed with little satire, explode the wits on t'other side o.th water. Why has my Lord Godolphin's special grace invested me with a queen's waiter's place, if I debad of festival delights, am not allowed to spend the perquisites? He's but a short remove from being mad, who at a time of jubilee is sad, and like a griping usurer does spare his money to be squandered by his heir, fluttered away in liveries, and in coaches, and washy sorts of feminine debauches. As for my part, whate'er the world may think, ill bid adieu to gravity and drink, and though I can't put off a woeful mien, will be all mirth and cheerfulness within as, in despite of a censorious race, I most incontinently suck my face. What mighty projects does not he design, whose stomach flows and brain turns round with wine? Wine, powerful wine, can thaw the frozen cit, and fashion him to humour, and to wit makes even summers to disclose his art, by racking every secret from his heart, as he flings off the statesman's sly disguise, to name the cuckold's wife with whom he lies 5 Evan serum, when he quaffs instead of tea, fancies himself in Canterbury's C&S, when he carousing reels imagines that he has regained the seals W by virtue of his juice, can fight and Stanhope of commissioners make light. Wine gives Lord Wingham aptitude of parts, and swells him with his family's deserts, whom can it not make eloquent of speech, whom, in extremest poverty, not rich? Since by the means of the prevailing grape THN can Lechmere's warmth not only ape, but half seize o'er, by its inspiring bounties can qualify himself in several counties. What I have promised, thou mayst rest assured, shall faithfully and gladly be procured. Nay, I am already better than my word. New plates and knives adorn the jovial board, and lest you at their sight shouldst make wry faces, the girl has scoured the pots, and washed the glasses teen, care so excellently well to clean that thou mayst see thine own dear picture in Moreover, due provision has been made that conversation may not be betrayed. I have no company, but what is proper to sit with the most flagrant Whig at supper. There's not a man among them, but must please, since they're as like each other as our peas. Toland and Hare have jointly sent me word they'll come, and Kennet thinks to make a third, provided he's no other invitation from men of greater quality and station. Room will for Oldmixon and J.S. be left, but their discourses smell so much of theft, there would be no abiding in the room, should 2 such ignorant pretenders come. However, by this trustee bearer right, if I should any other scabs invite, though if I may my serious judgment give him wholly for King Charles No. 5, that was the stint in which that monarch fixed, who would not be with noisiness perplexed, and that if Tholt agree to think it best, shall be our tale of heads, without one other guest. I've nothing more now this is said to say, but to request Tholt instantly away, and leave the duties of thy present post to some well-skilled retainer, in a host doubtless held carefully, thy place supply, and o'er his grace's horses have an eye. While thou who slunk through postern more than once dost, by that means, avoid a crowd of duns, and crossing o'er the Thames at Temple Stairs leavest Phillips, with good words to cheat their ears. Footnote 1. Allusion to a pamphlet written against STEELE, under the name of Toby Edward King Abel Roper's kinsman and shopman. Footnote 2. Dennis had a notion that he was much dreaded by the French for his writings, and actually fled from the coast on hearing that some unknown strangers had approached the town where he was reciting, never doubting that they were the messengers of Gallic vengeance. At the time of the Peace of Utrecht, he was anxious for the introduction of a clause for his special protection, and was hardly consoled by the Duke of Marlborough's assurances that he did not think such a precaution necessary in his own case, although he had been almost as obnoxious to France as Mr. Dennis Scott. Footnote 3. Sir Thomas Pilkington, a leading member of the Skinners Company and a staunch Whig, he was elected Lord Mayor for the 3rd time in 1690, and died in 1691. W.E.B. Footnote 4. A comedy by STEELE. Footnote 5c. The Examiner Prose Works Roman 9 171 n. For the grounds of this charge, W.E.B.